Welcome everybody to Fit Tuesday, resilient by design and practiced consistently, because we know that's the magic bullet, right, when we're trying to reach our goals. First of all, I want to thank you all for your feedback. I want to let you know that all your input, all the suggestions, all the constructive remarks that you made went into creating this program. Not just this program, but my entire year now is planned out in a periodized, literally timeless sort of program that is really a lot more than a program. Fit Tuesday is really an entire system. It's an entire progressive, periodized system. So think of yourselves as each getting personal training, and I've come up with this periodized system to walk you through these macro, meso, and micro cycles throughout this entire year. When practiced consistently, you guys are going to enjoy some wonderful benefits, all right? So job number one for this first program, for these first few weeks, is to establish not only a base, but a solid base. All right, we've had a few weeks off, and we've probably detrained a little bit if you haven't been working out. I know some of you have, and I know some of you have been accessing the replays. I'm very excited about, and thank you for that. But so establish a solid base. What does that mean? Number one, we have to have balance. We have to have stability throughout the entire kinetic chain. Joint mobility and joint integrity and structural integrity, all right? And all that means, all of that comes together in a beautiful orchestra to mean that you move more freely, more efficiently, with less pain, less discomfort. But again, it's got to be practiced consistently. And that's why that's in there, right in the title of the whole Fit Tuesday program, because it really is a philosophy for training. So, secondly, but neither is more important than the other, you're going to be doing something else that you probably never even thought of. You're actually improving your nervous system. You're improving the timing, the responsiveness, and the sensitivity of your nervous system, which we know down-regulates not only as we age, but because we are inactive, right? We are typically in an active society, and we don't use our nervous system the way it should be used, and so we lose it, essentially. So what that means for you is better 24-hour, 7-day protection round the clock, better body awareness, and something called proprioception, which is the ability of your joints and little organelles within your joints to tell your brain where your body is in space. Imagine if you've got good proprioception, how that reduces your risks of falls, bumping into things, injuring yourself, not only acutely, like on the spot, but chronically. Because you've got better body awareness, you'll be able to feel where your body is in space. So if I say to you, you're shifting to the left, you'll know what that means. Or you're shifting to the right, you'll know what that means. You will feel it, that you are shifting to the right, rather than, oh, I'm just square. What's she saying? Who's shifting to the right? And you may be and not even be aware of it, right? But when we create that body awareness, that nervous system timing and responsiveness, and when we improve that, which we do through training, you guys are just going to move better and feel better and just be overall more efficient. All right, so with that all said, we're going to get started. Just a slight camera adjustment here so that you can see my mat. So we're going to begin tonight. Oh, by the way, you might want a chair. You might want your chair, all right? Because remember, we are going to be practicing balance. So we're going to be challenging it a little bit. You also might want a medium to light band. Don't need it, though. You don't need it, all right? That all said, we're going to get started. So we're going to begin, hopefully that'll stay there. We're going to begin here in quadruped position. So come on down to your hands and knees. All right, now, most of you have been working all day. I think everybody's been working all day. A lot of you have been sitting all day. We need to open up this spine. We need to create some openness in the sacroiliac, the glutes, and the hamstrings, all right, as well as the front of the shoulder. So I want you to start with your hands and knees, hands right under your shoulders, knees right under your hips. Now what you're going to do is simply push your weight backwards over your heels. Extend your arms fully to the point where you can. Now, if that causes discomfort in your knees, pick your butt up and push it back. All right? That way you can still open up the sacroiliac without hurting your knees. Now you're going to rock forward, coming slightly over your hands, like you're in a modified plank. All right? Push back, hold, come up, and slowly move forward. These movements are very conscious by design to open up that backside. And right now, create some stabilization requirement as you come into that modified plank. And we'll do that one more time, rocking back and then rocking forward. All right, so now we're going to build some mobility throughout the spine. So you're in all fours. You can keep your toes pointed, or you can hook your feet, whatever makes you feel more balanced and in control. But I'd like for you to think about balancing your weight evenly now across both hands and both knees. All right, because of past injuries or history, we may favor one side and not even be aware of it. So I'm going to ask you to consciously put your mind in your hands and your knees and perhaps your toes and feel that balance now. Now we're going to be doing a version of a yoga exercise called the cat-cow. However, we're going to be doing the Pilates version, which is lenses, which requires a lot more pelvic control via deep muscular contraction. All right? So what I want you to do is take a deep breath in through your nose, exhale out your mouth, and suck your belly button up. Contract your glutes slightly and actively tip your tailbone down and forward. That is a posterior pelvic tilt. Good. You're going to inhale, take a sip of breath. Now you're going to exhale again, and you're going to tip your head up and lower or create an anterior pelvic tilt throughout the hip bones. So again, take a sip of air. Exhale, suck your belly button up, tip your tailbone down so there's more opening in the sacroiliac. And then we inhale, exhale, create a long contracted abdominal wall as we come into cow or lens. Inhale, exhale, drawing up the belly button super hard here. Conscious control. Glutes contract, tailbone comes under. We inhale, we exhale with a braced abdominals. Controlled neck position. Controlled shoulder girdle. Opening up the buttocks. We'll do one more lens. Inhale, exhale up. Sip of air, inhale, exhale, and relax. Sit back into child's pose in case there was any compression between the spine and the sacrum. And then come back up into quadruped. From here, we're moving on. Extend one leg back. Extend the other leg back in high plank and make sure your hands are right under your shoulders. From high plank now, let's push into down dog. Adjusting your hands as necessary. Separate your feet slightly, approximately hip width apart. From here, press one heel down and the other heel gently down. So you're kind of pedaling, opening up that backside, the calves, the hamstrings, the back of the shoulder. Slowly pedal one leg and then the other. Great. Come back into down dog. With your front foot, take a giant step forward to the outside of your hand. Outside of your hand. All right, now turn your foot slightly out. Front foot, slight turn out. From here, I want you to push your shoulder into your thigh and knee like you're trying to push your leg over. All right, like your leg is an immovable object, but you're pushing it over. So you throw your weight against the inside of your leg and you push it. Good. Come back to center. Step back into high plank. Push back into down dog to take some pressure off your wrist. And now come back into plank and step forward to the outside of your foot with that inside leg. Okay, now same thing. Nice long spine back there. And we're going to lean in, turn that foot out and lean into that leg a little bit. Opening up that inner hip. You'll feel it right in where your hip and your thigh come together in the front. You also may feel it in the back of the hip or the outer hip. All right, from here, we're going to step back into down dog. Keep your legs stiff and walk elephant style all the way up until your feet reach your hands. Okay. From here, I'm going to show you the bandless option for under and overs. All right, so you bring your palms down in front of your thighs, wide. Good. Bring your arms straight up. Try to keep your elbows straight. Bring them back behind you. Feel your shoulder blades squeeze together. Now bring them back up, over the front, and down. Over and unders can be done with a mop handle, dowel, broomstick, or your band. Just a light or medium band. Good. So if I grab my band, I pull my band wider than hip width apart, pull gently on my band as I bring my arms up and over. Now this is going to change the experience. For anybody who's ever dislocated a shoulder, you will not be able to do this. You'll only be able to go to here. You won't be able to go all the way back. All right? If that causes any discomfort for you, you stop short of the discomfort, even if it's there or here, and you have to bend your elbows. That's okay. Remember, we are strengthening, maintaining joint integrity, and improving the efficiency of those little organs within the joint to tell us where our body is in space. All right, from here, grab your band with just a tiny bit of tension on it. From here, we're going to hip hinge forward. Now, everybody, when you hip hinge, I want you to flex at the hip first, bend your knees, and continue to push your butt back. You should feel a stretch in your legs. Pull the band apart, together, apart, together. Look down at your mat now that you know what you're doing. Suck in your gut. Keep your butt pushed back, feeling that strength stretch through the hamstrings, feeling that contraction through the shoulder girdle. We'll do 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, 1 more. Bring it up and down. So those are your unsupported bent over flies. Now we're going to grab our chair. You may need it, you may not, but for safety purposes, we're going to start with it. We're going to do a balance exercise that also challenges the outside of your hip right here, this glute med area. Very, very important. Often weak because we sit so much. And we don't specifically work it, but the glute med is paramount for us to be able to stand safely and take some pressure off our sacroiliac joint. Super important. So hover your hand. You're going to tap first the straight leg forward, tap out to the side, tap up behind you. Now you're going to want to draw your abdominals in when you bring the leg behind you so that you don't arch your lower back. You want to extend at the hip with a tight glute to help prevent overarching the lower back. All right, so let's just get that down. So it's front, side, back. Front, side, back. Slight lean's fine. Front, side. We go slow. Good. Try to hover. Side. Can you float your foot now? Contract. Front, side. It won't take long. You're going to feel it in your hip. And again, front. This is where we build that stable hip. And if you can, we're spending about a minute on this leg. It should be burning right about now, and if it's not, that's okay. Another round and it probably will be. Just do what you can, and if it burns too much, just take a break. Just do that. It'll take it right away. All right, so now we have to use the other side. A lot of people said that they wanted help with balance. They felt like their balance wasn't what it used to be. Guess what, guys? When our nervous system down regulates, that's exactly what happens. We have a little bit more difficulty maintaining our balance. Maybe it's because our eyesight's not as good as it was. Maybe it's because we don't have quite as many little hair inside the inner ear that we used to have. Or maybe it's because our ability of our nervous system to communicate with our brain where we are in space has downregulated. Good. Can you float? Great. If you lose your balance, don't worry. Just kickstand down and then try to float again or catch your chair, okay? It's not about being perfect. It's about challenging that glute med on this stance leg and our balance. Good, we'll do one more round. And you should feel the fatigue all the way down the outside of that leg. And that is normal. That is normal. And again, it'll go away. Just stand on both legs and release the hip. All right. Believe it or not, that was just the warm-up. So now we're getting into how do we create this stable front, back, and sides. We're going to begin with bridges. Now again, this may seem rudimentary. It may seem, oh my gosh, this is so easy. But I want you to focus on your movement, on your body in space, and improving the regulation of both those things. Okay? We often develop faulty movement patterns because of our daily life and injuries. There are a number of reasons. If you do want to ramp up your bridge, I would suggest using a small monster band and wrapping the monster band just above the knee joint, right around the bottom of like the bottom of your quad, okay? Above your knee joint is important, okay? Because we want to protect the knee. But let's focus now. You go ahead and use that resistance if you like, but let's just focus on form. All right. So we're going to lie on our backs. Now, a lot of people get messed up right from the fundamental portion of this bridge. by bringing their feet too close together and letting their knees fall apart. I've also seen the other, feet outside, knees inside, and that might be even more common. Typically when you go up in your bridge though, people's knees tend to fan open. I want you to be aware of that. What we want to do is create a parallel line, and we want to keep that parallel line. Now the bridge is one of the most important exercises for working the hamstrings and the glutes. It also works the back. Arms are down by your side. Now when we do the bridge, the shoulder girdle becomes our platform of our base of support, our platform for our base of support. So we want to think about not going any higher than the scapula. We also want to maintain the alignment of the spine. So it requires bracing or bearing down between the rib cage and the top of the hip bones. Perhaps a little drawing in maneuver as well. All right, so a lot to think about. Balance your whole foot and place your foot right under your knees. You don't want your legs way out here, nor do you want your feet way up here. That's going to hurt your knees, okay? And probably require too much of a quad stretch. So here we go. Line your feet and your knees and your hips up, arms by your side. Brace and bear down between the ribs and the pubic bone or the top of the pelvis. Anchor the pelvic floor. Exhale and bridge. Now, when you come up into the high position, pick up your head and look down your legs. Make sure your knees are not bowed in or fanned out. Hold them together as if you're holding a ball between your legs and lower down. The band may also help you to maintain alignment between your legs as you bridge. Here we go. Inhale, exhale, bridge. So again, the first couple classes are really focused on improving our awareness of our body's position in space. Really training the nervous system. We exhale, squeezing the glutes and the abdominals consecutively. We want them to contract in tandem. Think about pulling the gluteals up your backside. Rather than just squeezing them together, think about pulling them up. Same thing with the abs. Rather than just bearing down between the rib cage and the top of the pelvic bone, think about pulling them in. Feel how more solid you feel. Exhale and come up. We'll do a few more. You should feel a lengthening through the front of the thigh. Exhale. Make sure your back is not arching. Everything is in place. And make sure also that you're coming up all the way up, not just a short range of motion. All right, so from here now, we're going to roll over onto our sides. We're going to nail that gluteus medius specifically. So you can cradle your head on your upper arm, or you can make a muscle and use that to cradle your head. You're going to bring your knees in front of you and kind of line up your feet with your outer hip. You're going to keep the inside of the soles of the feet together. And again, if you want resistance, a small loop band or monster band around your knees or top of your knees works fine. All right, so from this triangle position, we open the knee up toward the ceiling, squeezing the gluteals, but we keep the hips stacked. So you cannot allow your hip to rotate backwards at all. You won't be able to lift the legs super high, but you're going to feel a very intense contraction through the outside of the glute max and the top portion, outer portion, which is the glute med. Now, as you fan your top leg up and nail those hip bones nice and parallel, which may require a slight push forward. Just a kind of a conscious decision, if you will, to maintain that neutral alignment. You exhale and inhale. Again, now we're specifically working the top outer portion of the hip here. If you put your fingers on it, you feel it tighten up and bulge under your fingers. Palpation of the muscle as it's contracting helps to increase our awareness, again, of our body moving through space. That's a good thing. Good. So again, high rep, low load, fatiguing specifically through that glute med. All right, so we're going to switch to the other side. Now, when we get to our next exercise, since we've pre-fatigued this glute med, it's going to create a different experience. We're going to be doing a different kind of carry. All right, so we're stacking this up now, lining the feet, the hip bones, and remember the hip bones are stacked. All right, think foundation. Think rebar down through that foundation. Cradle your head, anchor your foot, and lift. Good. And again, if you want resistance, a medium resistance monster beyond, anchored around the top portion, lower portion of your thighs or just above the knee, can be just the thing for this. Again, abdominals are braced because we have to control the pelvic position here to specifically isolate and work this glute med. We squeeze up with intention. Squeeze up. Good. A few more. I think we've got 6 more. Give us 15 reps. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Get in a couple more. Okay. All right. So from here now, we're coming on up. Kettlebell grip. Goblet hold. One leg up. Down. Other leg up. And down. Now, this can also be done on a stability ball. Oh yeah. It can also be done on an AirX pad if you really want to ramp it up. So there are many ways we can progress this without having to increase our weight. Keep going. This is number 5. Great. You're going to feel it on the outside of your hip, on that stabilizing leg, right in that glute med area. Again, all these exercises are designed to create literally a solid base of support. It's different for sure, but the last thing we want to do is load faulty movement patterns. I want you to now put your mind into your muscle. Think about how your weight shifts from side to side. Are you leaning one side more than the other? Do you feel more balanced and like you're sticking the floor on one side as opposed to the other? Just keep your trunk braced. Great, we'll do one more and we'll call that 12. Awesome. Beautiful. You can keep your weight if you like. And again, I would encourage a medium heavy weight. I want everybody to grab your chair. Again, this may seem rudimentary, but oftentimes we pick up bad lifting habits and we don't even know it. We're not even aware of it. And then we do something like go back to the basics and try something like a chair squat and we realize, oh my goodness, I've been doing this wrong, or I've been really compromising my joints, right? Okay. So you can continue to use your goblet hold if you like. Now, I am profiled to you for a reason. I want you to see that I am well ahead of my chair. My heels are approximately 3 to 4 inches ahead of my chair. All right? A lot of people, when they squat to a bench or a chair, have their feet right up to it. I don't want you to do that. If you do that, when you go to squat and touch your booty to the chair, it's going to create way too sharp a knee angle. It's going to way load the quads way too much. All right? So I want you to step forward to your chair. Now, this is going to require you to hip hinge first. It's going to require you to send your center of mass backwards, which is going to cause you to be off balance, hence your chair. All right? So the chair gives us a target. It gives us a frame of reference for our feet, and also helps protect us, because if we go down, we can land on the chair. So we're going back and down, booty first. Touch the booty to the chair. Good. Feel how far back that center of gravity is. When you push up, you're going to feel the weight predominantly in your heels. You can even try it a little bit further forward. Step back. Good. Trunk up, and lift up. I want you to feel how that feels, guys. Put your mind into it right now. Send the glutes back and keep your shoulders up. And come up. Feel how the weight has shifted, the work has shifted into those hamstrings and glutes. So critical to keep our hips and our knees healthy and strong and pain-free. This is how you move through a pain-free range of motion. Look how far back those glutes are going. Reaching for that chair. Good. So it may seem like a cheat, and it may seem rudimentary, or like you're going back to ground zero, but sometimes it's good to go back to ground zero. Now, because your chair is there, I want you to look down toward your knees. That's going to throw your balance off. Be careful, and make sure your knees are not caving in. Keep your knees right over your shoelaces and push your butt back. And do it again. Awesome. We'll talk about that after class, but I'll bet you $20 you felt that different. I'll bet that squat was a different experience for you than it typically is. I'm going to use the back of my chair. I'm going to pretend the back of this chair is a wall. All right? I'm going to stand. I'm going to put my weight down because I really don't need it right now. I'm going to stand about a foot away from my wall here. Watch what I'm going to do. This is how I often teach hip hinging in a one-on-one setting when people are having trouble with the deadlift position. So the first thing is the hip hinge. Before we can cave at the knees, we want to initiate this at the hip. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to use this chair wall as my target. As I hip hinge, look at that. I'm pushing my butt all the way back to that chair. I'm coming back up. So what I'm doing is I'm not just hinging at the hip and bending forward, which is what many of us do. No. I am translating my weight backwards, pushing my butt back. Feel the difference in the hamstrings when you do that. Now bring it up. This is a proper hip hinge, guys. This is how it's done. The booty goes back. It goes back further than you think it has to. And then you come up. And again. Oh, I got it too close. There we go. You should be about a foot away from your chair. Hinging right at the hip. And notice I only go until my back is parallel to the floor. This is as far as I need to go. Chances are when I get there, I'm going to feel this tension in my hamstrings. I'm allowing this tension to dictate how far back those glutes go and how far forward my trunk goes. When we're deadlifting, this is what you want to do. I want you to practice with a chair or a wall. Stand next to a wall and use it. So the chair actually worked pretty well on my mat. It actually slid a little bit backwards when I was there, so that was a good thing. It gave me a little bit more hip flexion. All right, so from here, we're moving on to our plank. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to start with a high plank, because high planks are easier. The angle of the body, just like with an elevated push-up, makes the plank easier. We're going to hold it for 10 seconds. But here's the thing. While you're doing your plank, I want you to focus on deep trunk bracing. So pulling that rib cage toward the hip bones and vice versa, along with that contracting kind of TVA pulling in. I want you to think about pulling the glutes up, all right? And I want you to think about pulling your kneecaps up. Everything is pulling toward your center. I hope that makes sense. It will, I think, when we're planking. So we come down to our mat. We're going to run over a little bit tonight, guys. I apologize for that. There's just a lot to cover. All right, pack the shoulders. You're in quadruped. Hands right under the shoulders, knees right under the hips. Chances are they were together, so go ahead and take a moment to actually visualize that. Extend one leg back, brace and pull up. Extend the other leg back. Glutes pull up, kneecaps pull up, abs pull up. And we hold for 7 more seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, hang on to it. Keep it nailed. Lower down to the mat. Feel how solid you are. Your butt is supposed to have a little bit of a bump, but it's not up in the air. We hold 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Feel that isometric work. Come on up to high plank. Hands right under the shoulders. Pull up the abs. Brace the shoulder girdle. Pull up the glutes. Pull up the quads. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2. Down into low plank. Pull it all up tight. Nail it up. Batten down those hatches. Hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you did that correctly, you should feel so solid in that plank that if somebody came along and put their foot on your back, they would not be able to change the position of your spine, nor would they be able to push you over. You should feel so solid. All right, so now we're going to open up that sacroiliac, and we're also going to work some trunk flexion. All right, so we're going to start on our back side. We're doing great. We won't have a lot of time tonight for mobility work, but we will work on some stretching, okay? All right, so we're going to keep the feet down if you can and sit up as high as you can on your sits bones. You can walk your butt toward your heels or vice versa. Pulling up tall, anchor the shoulder blades down. Inhale deeply, looking straight ahead. Exhale, suck in your belly button until it pulls your rib cage down toward your hip bones. This will naturally cause a posterior pelvic tilt. And we inhale to sit back straight up. Ramrod straight, neutral spine. Exhale, hard and fast, and draw your abs in hard and fast as you bring the rib cage down toward the top of the hip bones. Inhale up. It's like the hardest crunch you've ever done. Exhale, draw in and down hard. Pull up the pelvic floor. Exhale forcibly. Inhale up. And again. Real hard pull. Scoop and hollow. Inhale up. And again, this is number 6. So you can see we're not just moving backwards. We're allowing the quality of the contraction to dictate how that back bows. Inhale up. And how the front contracts. All right? Scoop and hollow. Rock her back here. And inhale up. This is number 8. This is number 9. We're going to be doing these tonight with our hands supporting our weight of our trunk so that we can just focus on the quality of the contraction. And 2 more. This is a great, safe way to create trunk flexion without compromising the spine. All right, now to get up here from here, guys, I want to challenge you to swing your legs around. Do not use your hands. Get your legs under you, come up to half kneeling and stand up. Good, yeah, try not to use your legs. All right. Gonna move a couple things over here. Now you'll notice tonight, my bench is 6 inches high. You're going to want to start with a bench 4 to 6 inches high, depending upon the tensegrity of your knees. Bye, Tam. Depending on the tensegrity of your knees. You may also want a chair balance support. You're going to step on your step. 1 foot up. Good. Now you're going to come up on your back tiptoe. And by tiptoe, I mean right on the very tip. Like you are a ballerina and you are in toe stance. All right? Just on the very tip of that sneaker. Most of your weight is forward. Push off with the top leg. Lower the back foot back down just until the tip of your sneaker touches. Push off with the top leg. Lower back down. Push off. The lower your bench, the easier this is going to be. The higher your bench, the more difficult. Good. Keep going. To progress this, naturally we can add weight. Imagine how good this is for your balance. This is also great training for the outer lateral aspect of your leg and helps to maintain the integrity of your knee. Keep going. Push, just barely touch. Push, just barely touch. Why just barely touch in the back? Because most people push off the back foot, and when they do that, they introduce momentum. And we don't want to do that. We want to keep this steady and strong in this top leg. You should feel this hamstring and also up into the glute. All right? So we're going to switch to the opposite side. So we get our balance. Just barely tap that chair. Straighten fully, full extension of the knee, and then bend the knee until that foot touches. Now, I want you to know that my back foot is not directly under me. The further back you reach your back foot, the more knee flexion and the deeper the knee flexion. So find where you can put that back foot to challenge your balance and challenge these hams and glutes and quads. Great. We do not do these fast. We just barely light the back toe on the floor, just like a just like a darning needle, a dragonfly. Just barely lighting on a plant. Keep going. Couple more. And that is our step up. We're going to be building, that is the conclusion of our circuit for tonight. We're going to be building upon this base going forward. It's very strong core, very strong lower body to build this super solid base of support that is going to help not only carry you through your program or through this system, but throughout your lifetime. That's my goal. To do something that translates to real high quality function every single day, 24/7, so that we literally build what lasts, okay? But of course we have to practice consistently in order to maintain it. All right, everybody, let's start with a stretch for the back of the shoulder here. We did a lot of supporting on the shoulder girdle. So what I'm going to have you do is take your hand and place it right on your shoulder blade. This will probably put your elbow up in front of you like so. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your opposite hand, right, gently. You're going to draw that elbow in, down, and sideways. You're going to feel, try not to rotate. Keep everything square to the front. Hips are square, shoulders are square. Go for that stretch and draw in and down. What this will do is you can see it's opening up the back of the shoulder capsule. Hold that strong stretch, but don't overdo it, all right? If it gets to the point of beyond mild, uncomfortable tension, you want to back off, okay? Just don't pull quite so hard. Great, so that's job one. We can progress that stretch as well, but for tonight, that's all that's as far as we're going. Here we go. Back and down and across. Again, hips are square. Try not to rotate. We don't want to, this isn't a thoracic opener. This is a posterior shoulder opener. We're going to isolate that to that protraction in that back shoulder capsule. Great. From here, we're going to interlace our hands behind us. Roll the shoulders back. Good. Now I want you to suck in your gut, and I want you to move your sternum forward. But I don't want you to arch here. I want you to arch here. All right? Big, 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 big difference. We want to mobilize the thoracic area, because chances are we're supposed to have a bit of an outward curve here, but some of us have a big curve here. We don't want that. We don't want to exacerbate that. We need to open that up a little bit to prevent that compression to the posterior vertebral area, particularly the discs. Hold that stretch. Great. Chest butterfly, open. So here's where we create some tensegrity in the neck area. You can take your hand, if you like, and do a literal chin thrust where you go push directly back. You can then stretch through this one pec and arm. Or if you can do it, if you've got the strength in your neck muscles, go ahead and thrust the chin back until it opens up your arms. You can see how my elbows spread apart when I did that. Great. You should feel a strong contraction through the neck muscles, front, sides, and back. This is great for cervical spine and maintaining the integrity of it. Yeah, hold and release. Good. Roll your shoulders back to release any residual tension in the upper trap. Good. So how about some controlled articular rotations here? Chin to chest, chin to clavicle, side. Now, if you've got a healthy spine, none of this should cause any pain. But if it does cause any pain, you want to avoid going to that extent of the range of motion. You want to find the range of motion that is accessible to you and to the side and up. And we can go in the opposite direction again. These controlled articulations are super great for the health of your joints. And remember, every spinal facet is in and of itself a joint. And ear to shoulder, clavicle, chin to chest, ear to clavicle, shoulder, and up. And again, some posterior rolls. I'm going to leave your lower body and lower back stretching to you this evening. I know you know what you're doing, so I'm totally confident with that. But we will pick up some more mobility work next week. I want to thank you for your participation, your faith, and your trust in FIT program and FIT Tuesday. And thank you for signing up. I'm glad